I want to give Coach McKillop and Davidson a lot of credit. They're not having the season I'm sure they had hoped for, just like us. They came in here and they flew around in that first couple of minutes. Well, actually, not the first couple of minutes. We got off to a good start, and then that stretch between the 16-minute timeout and the 8-minute timeout, really, that was the difference in the entire game. That 8-minute stretch killed us, and they were flying around, playing physical, going after us, and we were just making too many mistakes on the defensive end, missed assignments, lack of communication, and that's on me. I want to credit our guys, though. Most teams that are struggling the way we are would have quit when they went down 20. But we didn't. We didn't quit, and we kept battling, we kept fighting. That's a sign of a good staff and some good leaders. To our huddles, which is crazy, our huddles, we never ever thought that we were going to lose, which is mind-blowing. And that's a credit to these guys to keep fighting. And every day in practice, they continue to fight, claw. You wouldn't know if we were 3 and whatever we are or 12 and 3, whatever it is. But and that's a testament to some of our seniors. They're trying their best to hold us together and see if we can figure out a way to sneak one in here and then pile it up. And honestly, our goal is to try to get to the A-10 tournament feeling pretty good and knock off some teams and see what happens from there. So I'm proud of our guys for not quitting, but we got to make some better decisions. I think it was a 7-point game with the ball, 2-on-1 fast break, and that was a dagger. And then we got to stop and then turned it over. So we had our chances, but we got to figure it out. And we can't allow making or missing shots like we did in the first half to dictate our defensive effort. That's what happened in the first half, but that stretch killed us.
So, Coach, at the start of the first half, Davidson took a 20-point lead, and then
I was out there saying thanks, man.
6 or 7 minute stretch where you guys cut it to 7. What was working for you guys in that stretch to allow you to cut it?
We were just playing harder. We started the press, and the press got us playing harder, right? So, and that's unfortunate that we weren't flying around like that in the half court because that's kind of what we've been getting to in practices. Now, you got to give them credit. They do a tremendous job cutting off the ball, and they made some really tough shots. Kid Bailey, really tough to guard one-on-one. And Kuchera, just like the first game we played, he had a phenomenal first half. They got in the paint. They made some tough shots. And then we missed some shots that we've been making. We've missed. We got some guys that are getting maybe some tired leads here, so I got to do a better job of using our substitution pattern to kind of save them, especially for the second half. But I thought the press really helped and wore them down, and our speed and our athleticism got us back in the game, and it just woke us up a little bit. All of a sudden, you saw us playing with a much different energy. Maybe we'll look at that. Maybe that's something we can use moving forward.
That's a Davidson team that really doesn't turn the ball over at all. And when you went to that press, it felt like you really made them uncomfortable. Is that the most effective you've seen the press this year?
No. Seton Hall was the most effective I saw the press. But that was probably the second most that we've had. Maybe that's something we take a look at. Right now, I'm just going to focus on our seniors, get with our captains, our seniors, make sure that they're comfortable with that, whatever we do moving forward. But Jaffe's been asking to throw the press in there the last 5 or 7 days, last 2 or 3 games. He felt like that could pick up some energy. I listened to him, and it works. So now we got to pay attention a little bit more.
Coach, Jameer Tripp, 17 points, 10 boards. He looked aggressive. He looked confident.
Yeah.
The best he's looked in conference play so far.
Yeah.
What do you see out of him?
Well, it's been coming, right? The last 2 games, he wasn't seeing the ball go through the hoop, but his energy and effort were much better than they've been. And that's the Jameer Tripp that we all saw. He was the best player on the floor every day in the summer, best player on the floor every day in the fall. Then he got hurt and he struggled. He had 27 points when he came back against Georgian Court, and we thought, but he just couldn't get into a rhythm. But recently, here in the last 2 weeks, he's kind of getting his mojo back a little bit. Unfortunately, we're not the team right now that can afford to only have 2 or 3 guys show up with energy and making shots. We need 6, 7. We need all 8, sometimes 9, to play at a very high level for us to knock some teams off here and get on a roll. But I'm really encouraged with the way, it's not just this game. He's been gradually getting there by his energy and his effort. Richmond, he played really well. People look at the free throws, and that's it, but he played really well. and defensively. Like you saw Kuchera, he hit a brick wall in the second half when he tried to drive on Jameer Tripp. His size, his speed, and you saw us go 5 out with him because he's such a mismatch when he's playing like that. We just need his energy and effort to be consistent.
Not to oversimplify or point fingers, but if that lob to Josh is a dunk, how different is the last 3+ minutes of that game?
It's incredibly different. He calls a timeout. The place is going nuts. And but it is what it is. I mean, sometimes when you're in the abyss, those things happen. Right now, we're kind of in a dark place, and those are the bounces that we're not getting that, say, 2 years ago we got, right? And then we still got to stop the next possession, but then we turned it over in the transition again, right back to back. Essentially, I call that a turnover, but it would have been huge because the place was getting rocking. We were energized. He would have had to have used the timeout right there. But it is what it is. You got to keep fighting, and I don't think that was the backbreaker, but it was kind of a deflating situation. But that's the way the game goes. We still had opportunities. You got to give credit where credit's due. Durkin hit a huge 3, probably the biggest shot of the game at that point. That 3 was a backbreaker.
Sam and then Andrew.
How do you feel like your team adjusted shooting from the arc once Davidson kind of gave you guys some trouble inside?
I thought we did a decent job. We can't get married to the 3. We got to play off 2 feet. They do a tremendous job of overloading the paint, and they're not small. They're not massive, but they're all like 6'4", 6'5", long, and then you got Bailey, and they're tough, and they're all old and long. So they do a tremendous job. It's a matchup zone, and they really crowd the paint. But we got them extended in the second half, and we were able to get downhill and make some plays. Tripp was really good getting into the paint. Thankfully, he was playing like that in the first half, which held us in the game. But I thought our play inside the paint, we got the ball inside out and played off of 2 feet. And then we hit the offensive glass, which I thought was really good. But, for whatever reason, we're also struggling from the free throw line when it matters, too. This is really lopsided because I think we missed at least one front end of a 1-and-1. And when you're in a 2 or 3 possession game and you're at home, they shoot 24 free throws. They make 17, like the other night. They made 9 more free throws than we took, and we lost by 9. They make 17, 10 more free throws, and we lose by 11. That can't happen. And we fouled, I think, twice at the end, right? Maybe twice put them on the line. But they might have missed that. So we got to do a better job of playing that hard without fouling. And then when we get the opportunity, we gotta make our free throws. But we took 64 shots, and we only shot 12 free throws at home. I don't know. That's just kind of where we're at right now.
Coach, their bigs were navigating foul trouble. It looked like Reed Bailey could have easily gotten his 5th going up against Josh.
Oh, it did. I saw the same thing.
But just as you were talking about just attacking downhill, what did you like about that second half and that concerted effort that guys are in foul trouble, let's keep going inside and see if we can't get them out of the game?
Yeah, we woke up. We started paying attention to the game, time and score, and understanding what was going on. We were kind of glazy-eyed for the first 20 minutes. We were out of it. Really, the first 24 minutes, honestly. The first 3 or 4 minutes of the second half, we were still stuck in mud. And then all of a sudden, we woke up a little bit. Guys started paying attention and really paying attention to what was going on the floor and attacking a little bit more, being more aggressive.
Time for a couple more. Nothing? All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Coach.
y'all. Go Rams.
Coach.